Hi, you guys. Holy Spirit just gave me a little message, so I wanted to be obedient and jump on here before I run some errands, get my workout in, and get into bed for my shift. But he gave me a really cool visual, and as I was with a client today, it kind of inspired me. It's another example of iron sharpening iron. It just goes to show that mentee to mentor can also, God doesn't waste anything. So don't underestimate God using someone in your life who maybe sent them to you because they're seeking guidance from you. Obviously, the Holy Spirit first and foremost, but that person as well can be used to sharpen you as well. And so don't just write people or things off. I mean, God can give us guidance and sharpen us and nourish us and strengthen us and grow us up in the spirit with anyone or anything. So if you are in a position where you feel like you're being formed into a leader, we're all basically being formed into some kind of leader, because a leader is someone who can share the gospel, who can lead with the gospel. So I just love when he uses people that they think they're being sent to me primarily just to get pour through me and my mentorship, but really I get things off them too. That is the essence of iron sharpening iron for sure. So always be humble enough to know, I hear you, that you're teachable. Okay, so he gave me the visual of, do y'all remember, I'm more of a fan of the older commercials of this, but the Got Milk commercials, right? I know they're kind of controversial now, so I just want you to focus on the fact of what the concept of Got Milk is about. And the Holy Spirit gave it to me in a biblical way, okay? So he showed me kind of a visual of the Got Milk commercial, and he gave me more of a message of, do you got God? Do we got God? Meaning, in 2 Peter, I think it is, First Peter 2, I'm just going to read it first, and then I'll let the Holy Spirit give the message. So get rid of all evil behavior, be done with all deceit, hypocrisy, jealousy, and all unkind speech. Like newborn babies, this is the part that he gave me about got milk or got God, that this metaphor / analogy he gave me. Like newborn babies, you must crave pure spiritual milk so that you will grow into a full experience of salvation. Cry out for the nourishment now that you have had a taste of the Lord's kindness. So those Got Milk ads were designed to obviously promote milk and what it does for your body, strengthens your bones, calcium. You guys know the deal, right? It was a nourishment advertisement, okay, for a certain product. Well, this is what God is talking about in in 1 Peter 2, when he says, like newborn babies, and we're all babies to the Lord, right? Well, I mean, I hear you, but this message, he said, is about how he is growing us up like he is in those Got Milk ads. And the older Got Milk ads, you will notice they used to show the person as they were younger, and like they would grow into an older person. Like there was even one that there would be like a boy who had a crush on an older girl who was really pretty. Remember those old ones? And he would be like, well, I'm drinking milk. And she would never notice him until like you saw that little boy in the commercial. They would show it as him growing up and drinking milk and getting strong and kind of, cute. And she would start noticing him like, wait a minute. Why now I notice you, right? Because he was drinking his milk. He was being nourished, and it was becoming more appealing to the girl in the commercial, right? This is just a way of setting this message up, guys. Use it with spiritual ears. So, got milk, got God is what Holy Spirit told me. And so when it says here, like a newborn baby, you must crave spiritual milk so that you will grow into a full experience, which is what that little boy kind of did in those got milk commercials back then. So you will grow into a full experience of salvation. So like he in that commercial grew into a full man, that's what we're doing. We're developing our spirit man to be fully developed. And we're also growing into being a full kingdom woman and a full kingdom man, right? And that journey never ends. That spiritual milk that nourishment never ends until we are in the presence of Christ. But he is trying to grow us up in the spirit. So like these commercials are an ad to drink milk to grow us up in our natural, in our bodies, and strengthen us. God is saying spiritual milk is designed to grow us up in the spirit. And he gave me a few examples. So he says sometimes when we're not, if we're just kind of seeking God for things and promises, but we're not in his word, and we're not actively trying to cut out willful sin, and we're not actively trying to react the way the Bible tells us to with the fruit of the spirit, these are all opportunities where we're showing God that we're drinking the spiritual milk. We're being nourished by it. We're not just, it's almost like the difference between drinking it so fast that it's just pouring off and we're not absorbing it, we're not digesting it, or drinking it at a pace that he's walking us in to where we got God. We're receiving nourishment about God, right? We're growing up in the spiritual, as opposed to the natural, which is what milk does. The spiritual milk grows us, or I'm sorry, the natural milk grows us up in the natural, the actual milk, but spiritual milk grows us up in the spirit, right? So when we worry, because these are all sins, guys. The Bible talks about worry. Sins aren't just, lust, lies, jealousy. And I mean, sin is sin. I mean, if we read the Bible, there's lots of things that are sin, and worry is one of them. So just as an example, when we worry, and this is not a condemnation, this should be an encouragement, to spur you on to want more nourishment, right? To grow up into that spiritual giant that God's trying to make you, so that you can come up against those spiritual giants that are trying to come against you. So if we're being nourished by the Bible, the Word, the relationship with the Lord, a prayer life, a strong one, then when we won't worry as much. Why? Because we're not just believing in God, we're believing God. So anybody can say, I believe in God, truly. But what I've learned in my journey is that he's taking me, sorry guys, the pugs are snoring. You're going to hear that. She's asleep on the floor. She's well nourished, right? She's passed out. But when we believe in God, that is a whole different experience and walk than just believing God. Okay. When we say, I believe in God, but anytime a storm hits, we're freaking out. And there's room for growth there, guys. Please understand, God's not condemning you. He doesn't condemn, he convicts. He convicts so we can keep drinking the milk. Conviction spurs us on to be intentionally better, to keep growing and being nourished, right? Condemnation is what the enemy does, because that stops you in your tracks from progressing. So know the difference of drinking the milk and when the enemy tries to stop you and take that milk bottle away, that nourishment, okay? So when we say, I believe in you, God, but then storms hit and we start to say, how's this going to work out? This will never happen. I know he spoke it to me, but how could that possibly be? Or doubting that something's happening behind the scenes, or I'll never change. I'm never going to, kick this stronghold. Those are ways that we're showing God we believe in him, but we don't believe him. Because if we believe him and we read his word, we know what his word says, that he is faithful, that he begins a good work and he finishes it, that his word can't return void, that he watches over his word to watch himself perform it, okay? This is how we learn to go through the walk and the journey with God, drinking and being nourished. Spiritual nourishment looks different. When you grow up in the spirit, you start to actually reflect the fruit of what he's growing in you, because he's cut off those branches, and the nourishment of what you're feeding those new branches that he cut off, because they're going to need nourishment. He cuts off the dead stuff, and that wasn't being nourished, right? But he feeds us with his word, his living water, that relationship, the willful sin being cut out, the transformative work that the Bible does, not just the informative work. That's when we know those new branches are being nourished. Those new branches have got God. So just like our bodies got milk and we grow up like the commercial would show, and then things start to be, I hear you, just like the girl in the commercial would notice the little boy as he grew into a man, the world starts to notice the Jesus in us. He's so good. The world starts to notice not us because we're trying to put ourselves out there on a platform and say, notice me. No, the world notices the nourishment. I hear you. The world notices the nourishment of the Holy Spirit, that milk that we're drinking, that's transforming us, okay? That we're not just taking in as information, we're taking it in as transformation. Just like in the Got Milk commercials, where it showed the boy growing and transforming into that older man who became strong and ready to approach the girl, right? These are some of the older Got Milk commercials. That's what we're doing in the Spirit. So when the Lord is saying, grow up in the Spirit with me, we're no longer, it says, we crave pure spiritual milk so that we will grow into the full experience of salvation. We're supposed to look more like Christ. So that transformation is happening. And that's what makes the world take notice, not of us, but what's in us, which is the Holy Spirit, which is what Christ gave us when he died, and that descended onto us and we received it. And he walks with us. He walks with us every day. The Holy Spirit, the voice of truth of God. I hope this blessed you guys. Remember, We need our real milk. I mean, that's your vegan. You need your almond milk. But we also, more than anything, we need our spiritual milk. So God is calling us to not just believe in him. He's saying, kill off all that sin, the worry, the doubt, the wondering if he really spoke it. Because he says that's when you don't know if you're drinking the spiritual milk, okay? He says, trust him. Show him that you don't just believe in him, but that you believe him. You got God.